We come across this haunted slide in the middle of the woods, but it looks like an ordinary slide. We decide to go down the tunnel. Nothing happened. Let's do it again. Did it get a little bit darker outside? Oh well, time for another go on the slide. Upon going down the slide again, we are surrounded in total darkness, and we hear footsteps around us. And also, a flashlight. Well, I guess we'll go down the slide again. There now appears to be an object on top of the playground. It's a news article about a mass number of people that have gone missing in the area. Small town in mourning, this mass missing persons case at local park continues to go unsolved. Reports say both children and adults missing. A detective working on the case sheds light on its peculiarity, stating it's as if they disappeared into thin air. He asks that if anyone has any information pertaining to the case, or if anyone spots one of the victims, to please contact law enforcement immediately. We go down the slide again, and we can hear something in the tunnel. When we go down the slide again, nothing happens. And the next time, now there is a trail of blood leading up to a bloody corpse in a bag getting dragged into the slide by a creature. Now we are in a dark tunnel having to crawl. When we hear it approaching from behind, when we make it out of the tunnel, we end up in what looks to be an otherworldly ancient pyramid. It looks to be some sacrificial altar of some kind. When we progress into the inner sanctum, we can see a giant bloody bag of flesh chained up, and our goal is to unchain it and then turn the dial to feed them. We then hear a familiar scream, and that is when you see it. It stands ominously watching from the doorway, and we make our descent back into the tunnel. And it gives pursuit. We can hear it getting closer, closer. Then we end up outside and can see the familiar red tunnel, and upon entering it, we are back to the beginning. But the playground has vanished, like all the missing people. And that was Slide in the Woods by Johnny's Games, a fun little game I found on itch.io, which seems to be inspired by SCP-1562. The description on the SCP website is as follows. SCP-1562 is a metal playground slide measuring 2.2 meters high and 3.4 meters long. SCP-1562 was acquired from an abandoned playground on the outskirts of after several children in the area went missing. The object's anomalous effects only manifest when a person slides down headfirst on their stomach with their arms tucked down at their sides. Any other orientation of the body or limbs while sliding results in no effect, and only human beings are affected. When a person slides down SCP-1562 in the aforementioned manner, they will disappear instantly and completely at approximately 15 centimeters before the end of the slide. So far, no one who has disappeared while using SCP-1562 this way has been recovered. Attempts to tie safety lines to test subjects and an effort to pull them back have ended in failure, as the tether is severed at the moment the test subject disappears. Imagine being a test subject, going down the slide head first, being stuck in a narrow tunnel, not knowing where you are, and then the rope behind you gets severed. Meanwhile, you're talking over a radio with a person that says there's absolutely nothing we can do to help you. Basically. This was a fun little game that I enjoyed playing, but this next game is easily one of my favorite indie games that I've played this year.
A friend of mine was really good at this game, but he said that it was starting to feel weird and off, as though a new developer has come in and started changing things. The game was on sale, and I felt like playing something chill and relaxing to help pass time. Hell, even if the game was a bit broken, it was cheap, so whatever.
Unfortunately, the game was a little more than just broken. Here you have it. This is my story. And with that, we begin the game. A grow-your-own-business sim, set in a medieval world. We are then greeted by a blue smiley-faced AI program named Alibaba, and its goal is to watch over and guide us, the new player. Alibaba informs us that this game is really simple. We need to locate these podiums with cash registers on them to level up our character and grow our business. Alibaba then informs us that very few people have played, so it's been really quiet as of late. When it starts getting darker, Alibaba tells us about how beautiful the sunset is as it dims into utter darkness, and not to worry because the street lights come on, and it prevents people from bumping into each other. I can't quite tell, but something in this game feels off. What was that? Then we are greeted by an ominous figure. Our little blue AI friend then tells us that something has gone wrong and to go find them in the castle and unplug them. Unfortunately, we can't go to the castle right now, as it's the endgame area, so we have to just keep playing the game. In the distance, we can see the ominous figure, known as Snafu. When daylight reappears, we come across this. One of the in-game NPCs has been murdered and put up as a warning that we are not safe here. Alibaba then informs us that something has gotten through the security and it's slowly taking over, and that the glitch in the game is known as Snafu, and to run when we see it. Snafu begins talking to us and tells us that NPCs can bleed, and it's time for everyone in the game to bleed a little. Then tells us that it will corrupt everything and to log out now, and that if we continue, they will make our life hell. First things first, let's go buy a house. This is a pretty nice house, and there's a sign that says, "Buy me." I'm rich, so okay, I will. Behind you. Okay, I'm leaving. One thing worth noting is that the ground itself appears to be bleeding. Snafu then mocks us and tells its dead NPC friends to come finish us off. And then we realize this game has respawning. Once Snafu realizes that we can respawn, it gets really annoyed and tells us to log off. When we decide not to comply, Snafu gets even more upset and tells us that it is going to get us really good. Now it's time to explore this office building. And we have a few encounters with Snafu. Daylight came, so I decided it was safe to explore outside again. Okay. Looks like we're exploring the tower. At the top of the tower, we find a bunch of hanging NPCs that have corrupted textures. Now it's time to explore this house that is only open at nighttime. There are some creepy mannequins throughout. We come across an NPC named Simon, who locked himself in the bathroom because his mother started acting strange and is trying to hurt him. He then tells us that the key to the bathroom is downstairs and that we need to hurry up and get him out of the house, because if we are still in the house after 6, we will die. After another encounter with Snafu, we go downstairs for the key. Okay, that didn't sound good. The floors and hallways are now stained with blood, and the bathroom door is now open. Inside, we see Simon is dead, and it's time to get out of this house. Outside, we come across an NPC named Mikey, who tells us Simon was his son, and that he's probably deformed beyond recognition. He then talks about how he knew that they were done for, and that his arms and legs are fading away, and it's only going to get worse. Mikey says he's thankful that he still has his thoughts, and that he is sorry we have to experience the game in the state that it's in, and to leave him so he can live out the rest of his life looking at what was once a kind and loving home. Now it's time to explore the castle. Within the castle, we come across a ballistic gun, which Alibaba tells us to fire at the locked door of the room it's being kept in. Upon entering the room, Alibaba tells us to sit in the chair so it can log us in. It was a trap that Snafu set for us, and there are some menacing looking saw blades aimed right at us. We are unable to get out, and Snafu tells us that our emergency exit functionality has been disabled, and we are stuck down here forever. Then the saw blades start. Alibaba has activated the saw blades, and informs Snafu that once they are active, they have to run their course before they shut off again. This greatly angers Snafu, because now we can die and respawn. Once we die and respawn, we make our way back to unplug Alibaba. Stanislaw Trukowski is one of my favorite indie horror creators, and this game is a great example why. This is definitely on my list for indie horror game of 2023, right next to the upcoming game on this list. Welcome to Squirrel Stapler, small game interactive hunting. This menu is hilarious. It looks like we're about to play the worst indie hunting sim ever, and the looping music that cuts out. This is not a silly hunting game. We are in an old wooden cabin with the buzzing sound of flies around, and we spot a bloody mutilated corpse. We came here to get away from it all, so that our love might blossom, but our love has not blossomed. Look at my beloved. The flies have made her ugly and rotten. I wish she were beautiful, like the squirrels of the wood. And that is the main objective of this game. To staple dead squirrels to the mutilated corpse of our dead wife. Just before we exit, an ominous message shows that in 5 days, God is coming. Our first squirrel corpse is found by a sign that says poison grass, do not eat. This game plays like most hunting games where you need to crouch to make less noise, listen for animal noises, and then boom! We then come across the Shady Shack where we can commit sins. We then make our way back to the cabin where we will staple the squirrels to our wife's corpse. And then it's off to bed. On the second day, we need to hunt a large squirrel in addition to 5 regular squirrels. While I was out hunting, I heard a strange noise. That was just the wind. After we collect our squirrels of the day, we head back to the cabin to staple more dead squirrels on our wife's corpse. When we get to the bedroom, we find a note. I don't want squirrels. I want skin. Give me back my skin, or give me yours instead. Well, too bad, because you're gonna have some more dead squirrels. We wake up from that horrible dream, and never mind. On the third day, we are informed that something was scratching on the windows last night, and we should look for tracks. Next to some poisoned dead squirrels, we find the tracks, and they look like they were left by something big. We then hear some guttural noises and discover what made those tracks by the cabin. Dang, that thing really just exploded. There was some weird hair dryer noises, and a ghost of one of the dead squirrels tries to attack us, but fails. Then this bear squirrel thing tries to get at us, but can't because we are on top of a hill, and it can't get to us, so BAM! Upon returning home, wait, she moved? How is this possible? We wake up on day 4, and she's back in her usual spot. Hopefully she stays there. There are a lot more hostile creatures today. Also, some of the squirrels are mutated into double squirrels, which count as 2 squirrels when you pick them up. Then out of nowhere, that is seriously disturbing. Okay, I'm out of here. On day 5, no honey, you look nice, please don't appear out of nowhere in the woods again. A single message appears. God is coming today. So we'll just go out and do the usual hunt then. Upon getting our last kill, something happens. A 2-minute countdown appears with the words, God is coming, and also the words, I must prepare to meet God. But what exactly are we supposed to do to meet God? Let's try going back to the house, only to find there is nothing at the house. Where are we supposed to go? At about 55 seconds left, this happens. It sounds like all the dead squirrels are singing to us. And I believe God knows about the sins we committed at the Shady Shack. When the countdown ends, and there you have it. We won. But I don't feel like I won. In fact, that song is going to haunt me for a while. And that is where the true horror of this game lies. It sticks with you because of its abrupt ending. This is truly one of the most effective endings I've seen in a horror game because it just ends when the tension is at the highest. There's no warm, fuzzy conclusion or explanation. You are just left with that image of it. And that horrible haunting music. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.